wrench, a good pipe, and well, a little bit of a good book here. Not a little bit, that's Holmes. Anyway, we're talking about Main Street America, the heartland, small town America. And I've heard it said that history, well, you make it every day. Maybe not nationally or internationally, but I'm going to take you to a place where they try to keep their history right here in town. And this building behind me is going to be the new place they're going to keep their old history. And it's got a great gold medal flower sign on it. I hope everybody can see it. And but anyway, let's step back in time and take a walk uptown with me, will ya? Laying against a stoic tree here, and let's say hope they can bring that back to life. They're doing a great job on this building. The old museum's up Main Street here, and well, this is the new and future home of the Winfield Museum. I'll tell you what, a bunch of great people. They've done a great job, and they've really fixed this old building up, and it's coming along. So let's walk up that way and once again step back in time. And just like that, we're back into the future again. Well, we're going to delve into some history here pretty quick. It's been said that history is a passion for stewardship, reading, learning, and so much more. And these guys have done an incredible job here in a small town museum, and well, kind of the heartland of the United States. So let's check out the Winfield Museum, and we're going to talk more about this thing here in just a little bit. This big wave there, Judy. This is Judy Roston. She's one of the big members of the museum itself, and we'll get started here with some of this stuff. Quite a bit of Civil War stuff here, and I know there's a lot of you pipe smokers out there that well, they're into that stuff. So, and especially you, Juris Piper. So, if you're watching, here we go, some Iowa history. How'd you like to eat with that? You could put your eye out with that. Here's a list of the names of some of the officers from here in town. I love the way they dressed back then. And I know I'm teasing, but you don't get to see that just yet. And by the way, if you're looking for a copy of The Cemeteries of Henry County, Iowa, I bought one of the copies. It's a pretty cool book if you're into things like that. They do a really great job, and it's only going to get better here in just a second. And once again, I'll tell you about that. All right, we're going to get our start down a little bit of a hallway here. Got a lot of pins and badges. This is Iowa, so there's fairs and tractor shows and all kinds of stuff. So, and some good history. In fact, we're going to get into a little bit of history about a very famous sculptor that grew up in a town. Was born in a town not too far from here and grew up right here in Winfield itself. Here are the depots, and yeah, the Winfield Railroad industry was quite large back in the day. Freight, stock, passengers at one point. Very, 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 very lucrative. And this has a private property sign on it, so I don't want to get in trouble. We won't stay long, but this is the old depot, still standing in town, so that's a good thing. And I know there's a bunch of you guys, Paladin and Piper, I'm looking at you, and I know the steam engines are you and your son get a kick out of, so there you go, my friend. How'd you like to run that all day? Some very good paintings in here. There's a very good one in the office that I'll put a picture of here after a bit. And a derailed train there at its best. 1919. And Judy pointed out to me that on the CB&Q line, there was an actual switch house turnaround house for the railroad where you can turn the locomotive and the whole thing and send it back the other way. So that's pretty impressive for a small town of this size, and especially back in the day, and there's not many of those. All right, as we go through some more photos and well, it looks like a lumber certificate. We're going to get into this. They had a covered bridge here in town. No, this isn't Madison County, but we have a creek called Crooked Creek right here that's pretty well known, pretty big, and well, let's just say that this paddle wheel, well, took it down. No, I'm just kidding. It's gone now, but well, no, we're going to go with the paddle wheel took it down. And well, Crooked Creek's kind of large. No, not actually. That's like a Photoshop thing, but yeah, this is the real Crooked Creek. But it goes a long ways, and anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And they've got a great little collection of radios. They take a lot of donations here, so yeah, if you're in this part of the state and want to hand out something you don't really need, well, just remember me first, because I need a radio that color. Just like that. We'll call it Ford Blue. There we go. Some great posters in here. And I'll try to do this as slow as I can. The U.S. Post Office, Winfield, Iowa. Ain't too many signs like that just laying around anymore, other than in a rust pile. So it's nice to have it here. All right, as we come to the end of the post office sign here, it's probably going to be a little hard to read, but not too bad, I don't think. Anyway, it's just a brief timeline. No, it's not a brief timeline. Somebody's taken a lot of time from the 1950s on down to the 1900s of the businesses here in town, the schools. At one time, apparently, there was 3. And, well, fortunately, 1896, right there, one of them burned down. But goes back as far as it looks like somewhere between, well, 1850 and 1800. So kudos to those people who have really kept the tradition alive of trying to keep the history alive. And now we're getting to the big part, the fair. And as it goes, they've had as many as 10,000 people at the fair. And if you ever come to Winfield, Iowa, it's not the biggest place on earth. No, sir, it's not. But check that Main Street shot out. That's quite a few folks. And this is where we're going to get to, well, the Curtiss biplane. I believe it was a 1911 D Curtiss. And there was bad weather at the fair, so the plane itself couldn't take off for a little bit. And then one of the days it cleared up, and, well, they got to go for a ride. One Hugh Robinson took it up. And I'm telling you, when you look at the model out front, I don't know if I'd have got up in that thing, but, well, I don't like heights anyway, so. But very interesting. And the fair, Eastern Iowa District Fair, 1882, 1935, 50 years worth. So pretty cool, pretty cool. And they've got a lot of great history on that. Just picture after picture. It's just so interesting, the time period and the clothes and just how people celebrated things back then. We didn't have all this technology. Another great flyer from the Winfield Fair. It's got a kind of a, I don't know if you'd call that a sketch of the plane, but pretty neat stuff. And how about that for your dance soiree? And the library, well, that's some history on some of the other little small towns right in this area. And there's quite a few little small towns. We've got Mount Union, we've got Crawfordsville, we've got Wayland, we've got Marsh. Some of them really hardly any longer exist, but I'm going to say this. I was the last 3rd grade class in the School of Lyman itself, so kind of proud of that. And well, the depot in Wyman itself, which was connected to the Winfield part of the railroad tracks, I happen to know the owner. Of the depot. His name was Claire Mullen, and he ran a gas station. And well, I used to stop there in the morning on the way to school, and he'd feed me a Hershey bar by the wood stove. Pretty cool. You don't get treatment like that no more. All right, the space has got a little bit bigger, and well, so have I. But anyway, just really a lot of great stuff here. I can't, man, if you've got a museum in your little hometown, get out, check it out, help them out. And, you know, this stuff, if it wasn't for folks like this, it'd be lost forever, and it's pretty great. And you can see some of the trophies here, the athletic trophies, and we're going to get into that here in a minute because, well, and Judy Boy himself played on, well, the boys basketball team, and quite a few years back, the boys and girls both won state. And that's a pretty big accomplishment. I'll show you a picture of the sign that coming into both towns. I'll show you one of them anyway. Well, here we are at the sign. There's a sign at each end of town. First state in school history to win boys and girls state basketball championships in the same year, 1995. And at the top of the list on the boys, there's Eric Rawson. That will be Judy's boy, whom we just met at the museum. There's also, well, over here is Katie Sorrell, and just happen to be very good friends with her dad. And I know quite a few of these kids, so yeah, and I call them kids because somebody with a loud truck. But I wasn't in school at this time period. I was already had kids by then. So anyway, a little history. Speaking of the Wolves and Wolvettes, we've got a little montage here, and yeah. Happen to personally know a few of those players. And like I said, Judy's boy himself was a pretty big timer on the boys team. So yeah, one of the old fire trucks. But there's so many pictures here we could spend all day, but I'll try to give you the wide, broad scope of it all, and try not to bore anyone. But yeah, and I guess on Saturday night, old Cocaine's Orchestra, Winfield, Iowa, probably really rolled out the red carpet. All right, we're going to get into this guy here. Harry Edward Stinson, sculptor. He was born in Wayland, Iowa, a town about 14 miles from here, and he grew up in Winfield. And he, well, this is him hard at work at the University of Iowa, creating, well, a statue of Chief Black Hawk. That's right. And he went to Europe in the 1930s to study art. He was a member of Winfield High School, Go Wolves, as I was as well. And in 1921, he studied art at the U of I. Hence this photo. He's also studied at the National Academy of Design, the Art Students League of New York, and one of the first artists in the nation to receive the Master of Fine Arts degree. The Chief Black Hawk statue now resides in Crescent, Iowa, at Black Hawk Lake, and he also did the memorial to Lewis and Clark in 1936 for Council Bluffs, which is, well, I hear that's a pretty big statue, and yeah, it's quite the thing. It's a pretty big monument. So if you ever get out that way, out western Iowa, check out Harold Stinson's artwork. And he even worked with, well, a famous fellow by the name of Grant Wood, I read. And if you've ever heard of the American Gothic, well, that's Grant Wood. Yeah, we're kind of back in the ladies section here now. We got a little weaving and stuff going on, some quilt making. Quilt making is pretty big in Iowa, and a lot of small communities, I'm sure. But there seems to be a lot of it in our part of the state. All right, I promised I wasn't going to be in this anymore, but you can see me in the mirror here, and pay attention to her. She's a little bit better looking than I am. But yeah, this was in their Shears department store here in Winfield at one time. I'm assuming you could check out yourself from all sides. And it is one heavy object. And I don't know if you can see down here, but the metal legs on it are just huge. was in the Masonic Hall upstairs for a while when they had some balls. It's been brought down here. It's made its way around town, but it's in very good shape, lead glass and all, and probably some oak wood on it, I would imagine. But back when they made furniture to last. And if anybody wants to play us a tune on the way out of here, have at. All right, and this is out of the old Winfield Beacon newspaper. There's still a newspaper running, but it's not the Beacon anymore. But how is that for figuring out how to operate something? Anybody out there leave a comment on how to run that thing? And some other businesses in town. Looks like a dairy that serviced Winfield, Mount Pleasant, New London. A couple other towns close by. And I don't know, but they have some fun here at Crooked Creek Days. They have cardboard boat races, and I've been to a couple of them, and they're pretty cool. So if you're ever in the area, check it out, or give me a shout, and I'll tell you when to check it out. And back here we have one of Winfield's original hose trucks, horse-drawn obviously, and some old bunker gear, or what they might have called just protection back then. This is more like the bunker gear I'm used to. And as being a fireman, volunteer fireman in Crawfordsville, I know how you got to hand me down some bunker gear every once in a while. I'm glad I didn't get that though, because that looks like it wouldn't protect you very long. Now Winfield on this side of the street that's what it looked like at one point, and lots of buildings. This was a fairly big town, and I'm going to as you see Main Street at the beginning here, it's not quite as huge as it was, but they had a huge fire in 1909, and that was what was left of Main Street from that point on. They did rebuild, and you'll get to see some of the outside of it here. So, and this is a collapsible pole ladder. Very unique, and I'll just pause. You can pause this if you want and read about the collapsible pole ladder, but I've never seen anything like it, and super interesting looking. All right, so some of my lady pipe smokers out there, we're in the doll case here, and they've got some pretty interesting, some German dolls. They even got there's the football there, the W. That was Iowa Wesleyan College, the Tigers from Mount Pleasant up the road, and they're no longer there, but my Uncle Howard, who played high school here in Winfield, played for them, and I've gotten on some stationery from a hotel in Cedar Rapids, which is about, in today's hours, it's about 45 minutes away, but in those times hours, apparently he wrote a letter home, and it had taken him 2 days due to the mud on the roads to get there. So, yeah, very interesting, and, a nice Smith Corona that would look really good at my house since I collect typewriters, but, yeah. So I hope you've got your share of the Winfield Museum. Some great stuff. Support your local museums. Get out and see them if you're ever in Winfield. Judy's sneaking out of the way, but and I'll let you know how to get here. It's not too hard to find, and there's some good Mexican food right next door. We got some Pee Wee golf, but more importantly than that, we've got some Longhorn horns right here. Yes, and they once hung in the Gene Autry Museum in California. So anybody that remembers Roy and Gene, there's a little bit of history right there for you. And in case anybody can tell, I'm needing a haircut. And back in the day, it looked like you could get a haircut in here in Winfield. A couple barbers, Doc Beecham, and another gentleman. But nice old barber chair there. How'd you like to smoke a pipe or cigar in that? All right, we're gonna head to the basement now and visit Erickson's Toyland. And apparently this was a real thing in the 50s and 60s, and you could buy yourself a Christmas present down here.
The 50s and 60s decorations, and 70s, 50s to the 70s really.
Lots of nice Christmas stuff down here. Old decorations, and how's that for some carolers? That's pretty cool. Got the tree set up. Christmas all year round. And I think the heat index today is supposed to be 114 outside. So yeah, I'm down in the cool of the depths of the museum, and wow, some great stuff here. Anybody remember some the balls for the trees that look like that? that were probably toxic back in the day. Well, you never know. Didn't kill me. Great train setup here. Paladin, if you're watching, hope you're enjoying that. And another typewriter. I don't think it's a Smith Corona, but it'll work. Some great Tonka stuff up here. Probably some Buddy L stuff. I'm assuming possibly what that Jeep is. And we can get some Magic Stay-On dresses. A few more trains. Great toy collection down here. And yeah, and it just so happens, if you've seen the Bear Den at my place where I film weekly, I've got that book right there. Roller skates and, well, cowboys and Native Americans, I guess you would say. But yeah, how many people remember that stuff? Grandma buy me a packet of that. I had a lot of them. Great bear picture. Great bear picture. Hopalong Cassidy. Got Hoppy right here. And oh yes, the Viewmaster. Had a lot of Snoopy Viewmaster stuff. I don't know if that's a Zippy or not, but that's definitely a monkey. And a way to play pinball at home. Got a little guitar up there. A few musical instruments. Not too bad of a couple of them. And a play school workbench. Put your eye out, kid. Oh no, that's the Daisy gun. Red Ryder gun, excuse me. I should know better than that. We got some more dolls for the lady folk. Every kid wants a doll for Christmas. Quite the collection. Raggedy Ann and Andy. Casey Jones, you better watch your speed. How many people remember those games? And Smokey Bear, not Smokey the Bear. All right, and you know I like a good bear, considering I own Bear Wallow. So this is a Smokey, and apparently he was originally bought from this store back in the day. He's missing the hat. We're gonna say the dog ate it, but the one of the gals here, sister, owned that for quite some time, it appears. And well, this little red carriage, how cool is that? White walls and all, and there's some sleds way back underneath there. Yeah, we don't need them today. All right, I know we spoke about the biplane earlier and you've seen a little bit of it, but hopefully you can pick up the intricacy of this thing with all the wires and the time taken, and it was put together by, well, Bill Klopfenstein and Gary Miller, both whom I happen to know. And Bill, actually, I have a great story of him taking me across a rutted cornfield in his pickup truck one time. But that's a long story, and that's a while ago. Bill has since passed away. But this was the diagram for that thing, and apparently they had to even call England to figure out some of the canvas work on it. So, but it all moves, and like the proprietors, I don't want to move it because the way my life's going lately, yeah, it'd be in pieces. So, but very, very cool, very big, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the whole tour. Still some more of the depots here. Big railroad town, so pretty cool stuff, pretty cool folks, and with that, we're gonna get out of here.
A few moments later.
Well, apparently they've drug out another book here, and this is an award-winning book on rural schools of Henry County, Iowa, and there's the price of it. And if you're interested, leave a comment, get in touch with me, and try to get you hooked up. There's not many left, but there's some pretty good-looking stuff in there. So, yeah, either one of these books are available. So, but this one apparently an award winner. All right, one more tiny bit of information. This painting hangs in the office here at the museum. It's a painting of the depot that I took the video of this morning that's still standing. So, and I believe the artist's name is Bob Eckel, and he has some artwork in Washington, D.C. and across the country as well. So maybe look him up. I've seen a few little tidbits of his stuff here and there. Anyway, load your next bowl in your pipe. Hasta luego. Catch you in the next one. And, well, adios.